Hi, I'm Steve. This is Fran. Today, we are going to rank two affordable luxury lines. One is LG Studio. The other is KitchenAid, kind of the premium line of Whirlpool company.
Yeah, good comparison here for sure. So we'll break it down kind of category by category. And let's, before we jump into kind of specific categories, let's talk about service as a whole.
Yeah. Service is important. And really, I think with a lot of these comparisons that are very similar, I think service for you should be definitely the tiebreaker, or at least you should have some consideration of who's going to fix things before you buy it. As we said in other videos, we shipped 9% less stuff and had 10% more service, and over 37,000 service calls just in the Boston area. So it's a legitimate concern. And for this one, I would say that even though you do check service in your area, Whirlpool has their own service through a joint partnership with Sears at one time called A&E. Mm-hmm. So at least they have some. I don't know how good it is, obviously, but because they do have some service available, I would give them, versus LG that's made investments in service but doesn't have any actual service, and they're a real popular brand. So on this one, I would definitely give it to KitchenAid.
Okay. And then, as we always say, make sure you're asking those questions where you're purchasing.
And if your dealer doesn't have service, which they probably don't, check in the area. Just do some Google reviews for yourself. It'll save you a lot of time and aggravation after the fact. Let's go into some products. What do you got?
Well, do you want to talk style first?
Style.
Let's talk style here.
They both have stainless steel, and they both are in the white. And both of the whites they don't seem to get it right. I mean, Cafe got it right. I think Samsung got it right. The LG, I don't know what that color is that they put on their knobs. Hopefully they say that they're gonna be more interchangeable like Cafe. And then KitchenAid's got that white. It's certainly a little more stylish, but their handle's just...
the stainless handle, the knurled handle.
I don't mind the stainless handle, but it's just... I'd give this one a drawer.
Yeah.
Just say buy stainless steel.
There's not a lot of flexibility or variety there with these two brands. So yeah, I would say definitely a draw there.
You kind of surprised me on that one, but good.
All right, so now let's jump into the actual categories. So we're going to talk cooking first, and we're going to break it down into two. So first, let's talk about ranges. So 30-inch ranges, compare the two brands.
Well, you're talking about two of the biggest sized ovens. 6.3 is LG, and I think on the KitchenAid on their better series, it's 7 with the baking drawer.
Right.
The thing with KitchenAid is they put the controls in the top.
Yep.
Right. So they get that added extra cubic footage, but you don't have as much space in the top to do it. I would say from a BTU standpoint, you get the 220s versus I think on the top of the line KitchenAid's like 21 versus 21 and 17. That's kind of the same. You do have pro-bake convection, which is the Euro convection on the LG. Yep. You have, I think, better controls in the LG.
Yeah.
This is pretty close, but I think perhaps LG should get the benefit. BTU output, pro-bake convection.
Bigger oven without having to use the separate baking drawer.
Exactly. Yeah. So
we'll go Studio on that one.
Very, very close on that one.
So next, sticking with cooking, let's talk built-in cooking, wall ovens, cooktops.
I used to love the KitchenAid wall oven. I thought it was, it's certainly big. They were the first with the convert convection, but like a lot of this line, they haven't really changed it from that. I mean, they have the speed ovens that fold down, but I think the Studio is so inexpensive for all the stuff they give you. The InstaView door, the better LG's all Wi-Fi, which really didn't matter up until now, but now you can see the oven, from an app on your phone. So if you open it up, and they're adding things like diagnostics and more cycles all the time. So it's something to consider, turning it on and off from a soccer game. I'm not sure anybody does that, but you would think that in the future it could be a thing. And I do think the camera in the oven's is a good touch, but they have steam ovens that are really underrated. Their speed ovens are underrated, and the pricing is a lot cheaper than anybody else's. So it's a really good consideration. I think for this, and feel free chime in as I'm doing all the talking here. I think LG is a little better line.
Yeah, I think it's hard to compete with Studio here. KitchenAid, like you said, it's definitely been a little dated. They haven't really changed it at all, really, over the last 6, 7, 8 years or so.
Except for the handle.
Yeah, popular wall oven and speed oven combination as well. But really kind of, when you look at the differences in the controls, really, really big difference. You know, KitchenAid kind of has everything right on the control panel, where it's kind of like old school. You know, you find what you want and you push the button. Where Studio kind of hides everything in a nice clean display too. So it's all digital, all touchscreen. As you need stuff, it'll pop up on the screen. So I think it's a much cleaner look, way more, I don't even want to say high tech because it's not like it's difficult to use, but just a cleaner, more kind of, I think, up-to-date technology for sure. So I would definitely lean Studio.
Yeah.
Okay. So next, let's jump into refrigeration.
Yeah. Whirlpool bought Maytag for their French door refrigerators, right? And they put those French door refrigerators in KitchenAid units, like the ones now. And they really haven't changed much since, 2004? Yeah. It's still the same 20 cubic foot, is it? Versus LG that's made the counter maxes at 26.5 cubic feet. You know, they've got Instagram, they've got Instagram, InstaView, they've got craft ice cubes. They have a lot of different stuff. If you don't want the counter max, where it's 26.5 versus 20 for the KitchenAid, you can pick any number of features you want, all the way up. They have that twin evaporator, 9 sensor models, and all different kinds of configuration. KitchenAid, their better units is like they finally put a 2 evaporator unit out. Now, 2 evaporators are going to keep the temperature better contained in the freezer and refrigerator, so you don't have the crossover, you don't have the defrosting, but it's like $3,600. So I really think KitchenAid needs that better refrigeration product. Yeah. I mean, about 10 years ago, I met with the refrigeration brand manager, and he said they don't believe in technology in a fridge. And I asked him if he knew who he was competing against, because that's what people seem to gravitate towards is, more stuff, as long as it doesn't break down. And, oh, by the way, LG is the most reliable refrigerator we sold last year as well. So.
Yeah. Yeah, Studio is tough to beat here again too, and it's very different variety too. So like Studio again, like you're really looking at 2 refrigerators in that Studio line for freestanding, kind of dispenser model, non-dispenser, one with the InstaView, one without. KitchenAid, at the price point that they compete with Studio on, those refrigerators are really, really kind of dated. And then when you get to their more featured refrigerator, it's just a lot more expensive than the Studio to really not get much better features, if any at all. So I definitely lean Studio here too. Okay. Final category is going to be dishwashers.
Dishwashers is really interesting because they're both good. LG's got the steam, and that works. Very reliable. KitchenAid's been very reliable as well. KitchenAid's got, the 39 decibel.
Yep.
The truth of the matter is 44 is fine for quietness in a dishwasher. But what I think is really interesting is they've lowered the prices. So it's really good value now to buy a KitchenAid dishwasher. Their 4-rack system, which is likable. It's got the slant rack, so it holds the most. LG's the most reliable. This is a good matchup, but I think in this one, I'd be inclined, depending on how you load your dishes, everything is depending on how you see the value in any of these videos anyway. I think I'd give this one a KitchenAid.
Yeah, this is definitely, I'd say, their best product category for sure. Like you said, that 39 decibel model with the 3rd rack, hidden controls, that can go for $799. They have other models that, we've really kind of all gotten accustomed to have to take out the filter in our dishwasher, rinse that out and clean it. They have a model with the micro filter that you never have to do that. So they do some good stuff in dishwashing for sure, and I would lean towards KitchenAid here.
Well, that's it for Studio versus KitchenAid. If you like the video, click the subscribe button, and thanks for watching.